This is Sparta!
Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we're on Northwest. We are in the Super Conqueror and yeah, it's gonna be a very fun match. So I decided, in a week, don't really have anything planned. I just want to go ahead and say this now. There are a lot of people who have sent me clips recently, and I promise I'll get to look through them eventually. I've just been super busy, and I haven't had a chance, so that's why nobody's community replays have been featured yet. So just hang tight. I'll get with them as soon as I can, guys. Now, you'll notice right there that somebody from the Musk clan, Go the Doggies, is here. So that was a nice little run-in that I had. But yeah, so I decided let's do a little story time with Spartan. Why not? This is going to be a fun game. It's going to be a little slow. And so it just seems like it would be a good idea for a little story time with Spartan. So, the story that I have for you guys today kind of builds on what the last story time with Spartan was. In the last one we were talking about how we had a few run-ins with the law, to say the least. And I've got a couple little stories. It depends on how much time we have here. So we're just going to go ahead and start. Without further ado, we'll talk about my most exciting yet almost incredibly stupid and bad run-in with the law ever. Okay, so picture this, if you will. Young fella, not too handsome, driving his first car ever, which is a 1976 Plymouth Duster with a 225 slant 6 single barrel carb from the factory. And he's headed to work. Actually, no, he was headed home from work. I forget what it was, but I was leaving work early for some reason. And so it was I was working third shift. So when you're leaving work early from third shift, it's generally around that 2-3 a.m. mark. Okay, so setting the stage. Okay, so I was on my way home, and like I usually do, I had run into an issue where I was speeding, because I was pretty much always speeding at some point back then. And so, as per usual, I was speeding, and I'm going down a 2-lane road, which is 55, and I'm probably running 70 or so, just because I'm stupid. And I can't, ooh, Death Star. So, I can't help myself, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to just put it down. We're just gonna go, okay? So I opened her up, which went, like I said, the thing had 80 horsepower from the factory in 76. So we're not talking about a super fast car here. Not to mention the fact it's pretty heavy if you've ever seen a Plymouth Duster. Big bodied car. Anyway, moving on. So I open her up and I'm going down the highway at a pretty decent rate of speed. I come around the corner and lo and behold, going the other direction are headlights, and those headlights belong to a Perry County sheriff, which Perry County is the county I live in Ohio, and the sheriffs, those are the fun ones. So I know I'm screwed, okay? I'm going way too fast in a 55. He's going the other direction. It's night. There's no way he's got my my license plate or anything like that. So in my head, that says, go. Alright? Now again, I don't recommend this, because you can and will likely go to jail. So, don't do what I did. I just like, screw it, I'm gone. So I punch it, and down the road, I take the closest back route. Okay? Generally speaking, if you are a degenerate like me and you try to run from the cops, you want to get into roads that they're not comfortable chasing you on. Why? Because they will stop chasing you. Most of the time, they just stop. Again, don't do it. But, you know, it's one of the things that I was doing when I was a young dummy. And, so yeah. So, running from the cop now on a back road, going way too fast in my muscle car that has 80 horsepower. Okay? So, the sheriff is behind me initially. Like, he caught up to me, which, again, shouldn't surprise anybody. And, so, I'm like, okay, I've got to do something. So, I started going different back roads. And eventually, he gave up chasing me. Now, here's the problem. He wasn't close to me, so I figure I'm golden, okay? I am golden. He stopped chasing. I don't have to worry about a speeding ticket now. I'm golden. So, well, I take a bunch more back roads just to make sure that nobody's following me. And where I end up coming out, I come out the backside of the area that I live in. And I'm coming down the Hall Road from the opposite direction that I normally do to get to the house. And while that's going on, the closer I get to my driveway, and again, I live in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but I promise you, if you look where I live, you'll see what I mean. So there's nothing around where I live, really. I mean, there's some ponds. It's really super dark. Like, there's just nothing, okay? So when you're coming down the Hall Road, I get within maybe 1,000 yards, well, 1,000 yards. I come around the corner, it's maybe a half a mile to the house, and I can see headlights in my driveway. By this point, I have a decision to make, because I am pretty confident that I know what those headlights belong to. And my decision is I can either turn around and run, which probably would end badly at that point, because by the time I get turned around, they're going to be on me. Or I can drive up and act like nothing's going on. So I choose option B, which is actually the better option of the two, because you can try to bluff your way out of it, right? I mean, what are the odds? I know that they didn't get my license plate. They weren't ever close enough to do that. So I'm figuring it's just a coincidence. Maybe I just happened to get home and this guy's sitting there doing some like off the beaten path traffic control or something, you know? It's not unusual. Sometimes they do sit out there. So I pull up next to this as I realize it's a Perry County Sheriff sitting in my driveway. I roll up next to him, roll down my window, and I ask him, I was like, can I help you? Because, you know, you want to be the initiative. You don't want to be the guy that's just sitting there like sweating the entire time, right? So you just take the initiative. Hey, officer, can I help you? And the officer said these words to me that I will never forget. Ever. And he, with the coldest look you'll ever see from an officer, says, if you run from me again, you're going to jail. And to me, because I'm an idiot, and because I can't take, you know, just a normal, casual approach to the situation, I looked at him, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about, officer. I didn't run from nobody. And the officer, without missing a beat, looks right at me again and says, if you run from me again, you're going to jail. And I said, okay. At that point, you realize that this is the guy that you were running from. And I don't know how he found me, but he was about to tell me. He says, how many of those cars do you think there are in Perry County? And at the time, this was like 2005, I think, 2005, 2000. Yeah, it would probably have been 2005. So, you know, in 2005, there aren't that many 1976 Plymouth Dusters in the area that I live in. In fact, He tells me there are just 2. Mine and the other guy. And the other guy just happens to have a lime green. So, kind of stands out, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so that was my story. And I hope you guys have enjoyed of my own stupidity. So, let that be a lesson to you. Don't run from the cops. But we end up having a pretty good game. 7 kills, 4,200 damage, and 1660 block. And thank you, Go the Doggies, for letting me have that last one, just because you're an awesome guy. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.